Yo, what's up, guys? Insane Game Freak here. There'll probably be one more video talking about E3 related stuff. After this, I might just upload this right after this, after I record it. But we had to talk about the Pokemon Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby news that came out yesterday. I should have talked about it yesterday, in all honesty, but honestly, mine was kind of blown, and I was happy about most things. I'm actually happy about almost everything except for one thing that pisses me off. That some of you may agree in that sentiment with me. But let's just get into the information. So we got Mega Evolutions confirmed for, I believe you pronounce this thing Dianical, Sceptile, and Swampert. Dianical, considering from what I understand, this is an event Pokemon. I haven't even fucking seen this thing yet, or got to play with this thing, so it's kind of hard to care that much about it. Plus, I'm pretty sure this won't even be in Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, at least not from the get go. It probably won't be in the game until like at the very end of it. If it's not even that, because the legendaries will be Ground on Kyogre, so shit, it might be just in X and Y, and that might be the only interesting thing about it. But whatever. But yeah, we got introduced to Mega Sceptile, which is apparently now half dragon and has the lightning rod ability. And also apparently has a Christmas tree. Has that Christmas thing running all across his back. I'm actually surprised we don't get to see a front view of it. It's not a big deal. I was just kind of curious because you see, I think it has wings now. I'm not totally sure. It looks like it kind of has wings now, or it has a lot of shit coming out of it. So I was curious to see the front of it, but whatever. Um, it being part dragon isn't really a shock to me. I mean, it always confused me about why this thing can learn Dragon Pulse from the get go. And from what I understand, this thing is like based off a lizard or a gecko, which they do have. Lizards have probably the closest relation to dragons anyway. So it's not too far fetched. It still fits within the Pokemon's uh, kind of animal background. So I thought that was fine. And ironically, it's now the first grass dragon type, which I'm curious to see how that plays. Obviously, besides having the time for weakness to ice, I'm just curious to see how this thing plays. Now, granted, Sceptile was probably on G level just because of how quick and special attack heavy the thing was. He wasn't really bulky, but it's fine because Mega Swampert is like, son. Just as a side note, Sceptile and Swampert are like some of my favorite starters. I probably would say Sceptile is up there in terms of grass starters. He's right up there with like Torterra and Chestnut. I've always liked the shit out of Sceptile. But Swampert was like bar none. He probably is my favorite water starter. And then it probably would be Greninja, and then it probably would be Samurai because fucking Polion, and I'm indifferent to Feraligatr and Blastoise, but fucking Polion. Because I don't like Piplup, and I don't care for Empoleon's typing either. And Swampert just does it so much motherfucking better. And this Mega Evolution form, Swampert don't give a fuck. Swampert does not give a fuck. He also has Swift Swim, which means he gets powered up in the rain. Ooh, kill him. Oh my god. You know what's funny? Initially my mind was like, I should hate this. Like, initially my mind is just kind of like, I should hate this design. But he looks so G'd out, yo. Ooh. He has like, I have no fucks to give. And I'm going in like a fucking beast. Like, that's the mentality he has. He's like, I'm getting tired of these motherfuckers saying I ain't strong enough to handle my shit. And granted, Swampert was already bulky to begin with. That was one of the things that was awesome about it. He could take hits, and he had a cool typing. And Swampert was already on G level for me personally. The only thing I kind of hated is in Ruby and Sapphire, if anyone saw his sprite made him look like he was fat. Or he looked ugly as hell from his sprites. But like if you look at his like anime design or even his Battle Revolution design, or X and Y for that matter, he was cool as hell. And Mega Evolution Swampert looks like he will wreck your shit. I saw this post on Facebook where it's like apparently Nintendo has a thing about hulking the shit out of their characters, and Sega wanted to hop in on the front because we saw Ike is all buffed out, which is from his what is it? It's not Radiant Dawn, is it? It might be Radiant Dawn from his Radiant Dawn look because there's a time skip and he's gotten older and more buffed out. But Ike is buffed out. Swampert is buffed out, and then you have Knuckles from Sonic Boom who's buffed the fuck out. Shit was hilarious. Oh, my boy, you getting it in. He's like, I'm putting in that work, son. I'm living proof. If you take time and you focus your power and your strength and you train for 11 years, you can be just like me. It took him 11 years to get this mega evolution. He's like, Blaziken, you get your ass out of here, son. Blaziken ain't doing shit to him. Blaziken ain't doing shit. I have actually almost borderline saying, like, listen, I can learn ice move set time. Don't think I will fuck your shit up either. You need to just get out of here. If I put these hands on you, I'm gonna drag your ass to the dirt. Oh shit, I love the Mega Sentinel is G as hell, man. There's no getting past that. He's G as hell. We also find out that the pictures of Kyogre and Groudon are not Mega Evolutions, but they're kind of a part of the Mega Evolution thing. I believe they are called Primal. Oh yeah, they're called Primal or Prehistoric, Prehistoric or Primal Kyogre and Prehistoric Primal Groudon, and apparently it's called Ancient De-Evolution, which I don't know if that's just a thing because of Ruby and Sapphire's whole weather and nature motif that it had running on, or if that's going to be a thing for other legendaries. Because remember, Mewtwo's was a normal one, but granted, Mewtwo is technically not even a... I know technically he's an official Pokemon, but technically he's not because he's just a clone of Mew. So obviously he wouldn't have that. But with Pokemon, well, I'm betting Rayquaza, Latios, and Latias are probably going to get that. Even though I would think only really... Latios and Latias don't really need it. But I know if you're going to do Mega Evolutions for Legendaries, I think Rayquaza needs to be there too. Because Rayquaza is like that. He's like the third man in that trio. Whereas Latios and Latios are just kind of chilling in the background. And I'm curious if each legendary in each generation will have a different type of Mega Evolution, whether it's called a de-evolution or not. Which would make sense because at least they can justify why you can catch these legendaries in Pokeballs. Because like these things can control the land and sea, and for some reason you can still capture them in tiny balls. And then what this is inferring is that when they were first created, they were strong as fuck, and then as time went on, they've gotten weaker. I mean, they're still really powerful. They're just not as powerful as they used to be, which makes a lot of sense. The next thing that's here is that we get redesigns of Team Aqua and Team Magma, which is reconfirming that they are in the game, and depending on which version of the game you have, depends on which version you get, depends on what team you're fighting. Maxie and his admins, and Archie with his admins. I was always a Sapphire guy, and then obviously my love of One Piece geared me towards pirates anyway. And I'm sorry, like Archie just looks cool as shit. Archie looks so G the fuck out. It's not even fucking funny. His admins look G the fuck out. Maxie just kind of looks more. He kind of reminds me of like he looks like a less extravagant Team Flare, even though I know he came first, which you can kind of tell. Team Flare's outfit is kind of somewhat based on Team Magma's, but like a lot more extravagant. But Team Archie looks G as shit. So we need to have a hashtag fight. Hashtag Team Archie. Hashtag Team Maxie. I'm on hashtag Team Archie. Where are you guys going? The other thing is we finally get to see the new looks for the player characters, which would be Brendan and May, or Ruby and Sapphire if you want to go by manga terms. But we're going with Brendan and May because we're playing the games, not the goddamn. We're not reading the goddamn manga. This is where you kind of like X and Y kind of threw it in there, but you were a little bit too hyped because it's a new game. But with the Ruby and Sapphire remake, you can really understand that the player characters and like the art direction for Pokemon has changed with X and Y. Like no bullshit, it has absolutely changed because even Black and White didn't have this different of a design change and just character design. But you can obviously tell there's like a different artist doing the Pokemon shit. Actually, if you go look at the picture they did for Greninja when he was introduced in Smash Brothers, that is also drawn in this new Pokemon style. You can tell just by looking at fucking Peach. But like these pictures really drive that point home that this design that there's a new like animation design that's starting with Gen 6. Now in terms of changing their outfits, Brendan, we now know Brendan has brown hair and not fucking white hair like people think he does because they don't realize that what he's wearing is a cap. Also, Brendan looks darker in this one, which I don't know if that's him having a tan or if that's just. I think they're just trying to redrive the point home that they're probably going to still have the racial thing in there. And the reason why I said that is because May's hair is blonde instead of the brown that it was originally, and there would be no reason to change it unless they're giving like her hair looks like Serena's hair, which would make sense because you have the option to change the race for your main characters. I'm pretty sure that's still there because Brendan looks darker than May, and they've never done that before. And even if you look at, and you could tell there's an art change because if you look at Brendan and May's original designs, Brendan and May look a lot bulkier than they do here. Like they look really slim in these redesigns. There aren't that many changes to their redesigns, except now that you realize that she's not wearing a headscarf, she's wearing like a bonnet for May. And Brendan, you can actually tell he has hair now. May has gotten rid of her sleeves for whatever reason, and Brendan looks like he's borderline wearing a wetsuit, which makes sense because now their outfits look a lot more accustomed to land or sea. I think Brendan. They also look slimmer, but that's what I meant with them looking sleeker. But I like the designs overall. I have no problem with it. They kept everything about their original designs that made them the original designs and only changed it slightly. It wasn't like what they had to do for what was it? Was it Golden? Yeah, when it was for the Gold and Silver remakes, when they had to just remake, they just changed the character. They didn't even use Crystal. They just gave us Lyra. Yeah, that's her female name, which I like Lyra's design too. I'll put it this way: this looks better than the Kalos region looks because the Kalos region looks. I even remember saying, Caleb looked really dopey. Like he just looked like a really plain design, and fucking Serena also looks like she has a plain design. And the anime didn't help Serena at all. She still looks like she has a plain ass design, which I think was more of a thing just because they were trying to show. But hopefully the outfit customization is still there and everything. You can actually see pictures of them in game where they're wearing their default outfit. So I'm pretty sure we'll get a trailer in the next few days on E3, and it'll show things regarding whether they can change outfits or not, because those would be the first things you would talk about is that, super training, Pokemon and me, that kind of stuff. And apparently the Mega, what was it called? The Mega Bracelet. I forget what it's called in X and Y. It's now called the Mega Bangle. I don't know why. I guess just to change the title of it. And I feel like everything has kind of aligned because I find it funny that the generation you introduce Mega Evolution in these Mega Evolution Stones, you make a remake of a game that has the only champion who has a real big interest in stones. And that is our boy Stephen Stone, who has gotten a design change, even though, once again, he doesn't look that different. You know who I was hoping to see, though? I wanted to see if Wally got a design change. And I understand Wally isn't, like, heavy important. But I would. And my phone wanted to go off. I know he's not heavy important. But I would still want to see if Wally got a design change. Now, see, apparently he's the one who gives you the Mega Bangle. Now, the only thing that I don't like about these skins is regarding Steven Stone. And it's not even the character himself, because I like Steven Stone. Steven Stone's probably one of my favorite champions. He's up there. I like him. I like Alder. Even I cannot deny the greatness that is Cynthia. I think those are like my top three in themselves. But the one thing I don't like is that the skin implies that Steven has a Mega Charizard X. I'm about to go on a Mega Charizard rant because I'm so fucking tired of this thing, and it doesn't make sense for Steven, considering Steven has a fucking Aggron! Aggron can Mega Evolve. Why the fuck did you give him a Mega Charizard X? Now, granted, this is off the basis that he has a Mega Charizard. If he doesn't, you can negate this rant. Well, part of it anyway. The rant itself is that I'm tired of seeing fucking Mega Charizard, period. He needs to go away for like 2 fucking years or some shit. I am so tired of seeing him. He was in the Pokemon Origin special. He was in the fucking Pokemon Mega Evolution special. We're pretty sure Ash's Charizard will probably get some bullshit ass Mega Evolution. He's the only one besides Mewtwo that has 2 different Mega Evolutions. He's in Smash Brothers. I'm so fucking tired of seeing Mega Charizard, especially Mega Charizard X. He has run out the fuck out of his welcome. Get rid of this thing. Why does Steven have one? He has a steel type that can Mega Evolve from the original Mega Evolutions from X and Y. Why did you give him Mega Charizard? It doesn't even fit his goddamn motif of steel types, which is what his got. Which, by the way, was a cool typing in itself because steel types are kind of a bitch to deal with. Not as much anymore because of the debuffs they got. Like I think Psychic and Ghost moves now do normal damage instead of not a very effective because Steel resisted a lot of shit. And it also works because you can't abuse fairy types against Steven anyway, because Steven will wreck your shit. That fucking Metagross. Ooh, kill him. That Aggron. Aggron wasn't actually as hard as Metagross was a bitch though. That's besides the point. Why the fuck does he need a Mega Charizard? Why the fuck is I understand. Charizard was never one of my favorites. I actually still think Typhlosion is cooler than Charizard. Delphox is cooler than Charizard. Infernape definitely is better than Charizard. Actually, I think Charizard is my least favorite fire starter. He is, yeah, he is. I like every other fire starter better than him. What? I am so tired of seeing this fucking thing. I'm so tired of seeing the dragon one specifically, but I'm tired of seeing Charizard in general. And I'm hoping even if Ash ends up using a Mega, I hope it's Mega Heracross than anything. I don't want to fucking deal with another motherfucking Mega Charizard. I'm so tired of seeing Mega Charizard, and I swear Steven better not have a fucking Mega Charizard because he's a Steel type specialist and he worries about stones. And you have an Aggron that you can Mega Evolve. He better not have a. It's dumb. It's so stupid. It contradicts. I'm tired. Game Freak, stop playing a bias towards Mega Charizard. Fuck Charizard. No joke. Fuck Charizard. Fuck him. There is one other cool thing I need to mention though. I wonder if Birch is. Actually, I'm curious if they're gonna redesign Birch, because I think did they redesign Elm or Oak? Well, I know they redesigned Oak a few times. Elm, I don't remember they redesigned Elm for Johto. I had to go back and replay Soul Silver and Heart Gold Ruby. And the other thing I forgot to mention is that the bikes are returning. I can't find the scan in particular in which they mention it. I have it on my website. I'm looking at Cerebi though. The 2 different types of bikes are returning: the Mach bike, and the Arco bike. I'm happy about this because that means they're not changing anything in terms of the innate level design that was in Ruby and Sapphire. That means you'll still have those sand dune areas that if you have a running start with the Mach bike, you can drive up them bitches and get to secret areas. But and then they'll still have the same areas for the Archo bike where you had to hop with it in order to get over certain hills or little steeps and shit. That's cool because to me, the one thing I really liked about Ruby and Sapphire was the fact that it had a lot of weather variety, and it had a lot of cool shit going on. You had these desert areas, you had the ash field areas, which I think is the only area that's done ash field, which is it's not is it Mount Chinley or Mount Vernon? I forget what it's called. But you had that area in which the ash was coming down and like there was ash everywhere. And I thought that was a cool thing. You had a lot of those rock tunnels and that sand dune area that was on the right. Like you left Mauville City, you went up, you did this rock smash, and if you went to, but I think you had to have the goggles in order to even get to the area because the sand was so fucking rough. I liked all the environmental shit, and to keep the bikes implies that they're not changing the level design, which is always a good thing for me because I think Ruby and Sapphire, in terms of the way the world was, I have no problem with there being a fuck ton of water because you get out there and you explored it. I really want to see the dive animation. No bullshit. Granted, I do think they need to streamline HMs, but I don't think you should get rid of it because dive was. This is the only game I think dive shows up in. I think it's this in Gen 4. I think. Actually, it might just be this. I'm not even sure. It might be just Gen 3. But dive was cool as fuck. But you couldn't make it as cool because you're really all it was is you swapping out the color palette for like a water thin color palette, and you still doing the same goddamn thing. But Dive was cool as fuck, and that's what was awesome about it. So I really hope, they change the animations for some of these. I mean, we saw how most things work, but I think Gen 3 introduced, what was it, Dive. I think Dive might be it, because Waterfall and Surf and Cut and Strength, and yeah, I think Dive is the new one. I'm curious to see what that animation looks like, so I'm glad that this is kind of a nod to show that yes, we're keeping the level design, and I'm happy because I like the environments in Ruby and Sapphire. But that was all the news we really got. Overall, I'm cool with everything except for the Mega Charizard bullshit, because he better not have. That better be. Listen, if it's a Charizard that he just has, no, I still don't even want him to fucking have the stupid thing. There's no reason for him to have it. He has an Aggron. He has a fucking Aggron that can make it evolve. And if they give Mega Evolutions the Metagross or something, you have other Pokemon. There's no reason for him to have a Mega Aggron. I mean, there's no reason for him to have a Mega Charizard. It's a dumb. That's Game Freak playing bias towards Charizard again. Stop that shit. It's not funny and it's not interesting. You just come off annoying as fuck when you do that. Jesus. No, I don't like that. I'm serious. The Charizard shit needs to stop. I'm so tired of that fucking thing. And it's not even, as I said, it's my least favorite fire starter. Get out of here. Fuck. Typhlosion all motherfucking day. Granted, it wasn't like he didn't need the stat boost, but whatever. But that's essentially all I have to say. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. This has been the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game. Play to win. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.